The broadcast is live. Good afternoon, good day, good evening, wherever you may be in the world today. My name is Dan McCormick, the host of the Greatest Salesman podcast. I call it Wisdom Wednesday. Usually it's live at 2 p.m. Pacific time. We are going to go across the pond, halfway around the world, and welcome Austria into the house today for the very first time. Thomas, good day, and how are you?
I am fantastic, Dan. Fantastic day. How are you? Thank you so much for having me. It's a great honor.
It's an honor to have you. I'm looking forward. I got some great questions lined up for you, and I want to welcome those that may be listening for the very first time to the podcast. We certainly know that you can go like the show, comment on the show. Please like the Facebook page, The Greatest Salesman, and we certainly love it when you can add your comments live on the screen, as Denise is doing right there. And you can certainly feel free to share, of course, and go to thegreatestsalesman.com if you want to see any of the previous shows. It is just an honor on behalf of the Augmandino Company and this first book that was put in my hand at my very first network marketing meeting. The world of direct sales opened up to me as a 19-year-old young man. I learned about a philosophy of living, a philosophy of writing, a philosophy of systematizing your life for personal development through this great man, Augmandino. He sold 40 or 50 million copies of books before he left us. As a matter of fact, I believe his last speech, Thomas, was at a New Skin event in 1996-97, right before he passed. And Scott Van Pelt took him to the airport that afternoon. I am thrilled. Look at this. We have Italy in the house. We're grateful to have Italy. And we've got Scotland in the house and America. We've got all kinds of people that'll be jumping in here. It is an honor every week, Thomas, and this is now our 40th episode. And what I love to do from the standpoint of everybody's got time crunches, there's so many things they can be doing and listening to. But before you and I talk about how we met, before we talk about any of these ancillary things with life and business, I wonder, as you're sitting in this chair today as the greatest salesman in the world, and I do believe you are the greatest salesman in the world, what are three things that you find as you look back on life that have shaped your life or each and every day of your life?
Well, Dan, I think it's pretty simple. First of all, and I do it every day, you know, first of all, I start out with gratitude. And whether it doesn't matter where you are in the world, where you are in your career, where you are in life, where you are with money, where you are in your relationship, gratitude is the one thing that really makes you happy, that really puts everything in perspective, and that makes you just really gives you that motivation and that happiness, because at the end of the day, the highest level of success is happiness. And gratitude is just the one thing that I start out every morning with. Because it's a lifesaver, whether in good times or in bad times, and it always gives you that motivation, that drive to go forward, to you know that you're really at a place in your life and you're good where you are. So gratitude is the one thing that I go by. Then number two for me, it's definitely to something to look forward to. And I don't know if you ever heard that speech from, there was a famous actor who talked about also those three things in life. And he said, you know, I always have someone to look up to. And that's me in 10 years. And it's not, you know, obviously, you know, we get into the habit of comparing ourselves with left and right and with this person, with that person. But if you're just chasing your best version in 10 years from now, there's always room to improve. Wow. And that whether you are already whether you are the worst salesman in the world or whether you're the greatest salesman in the world, there's always, you know, someone to look up to, and it's me in 10 years from now.
That's beautiful.
And if you have that, if you have gratitude, and if you have someone to look up to, it just gives you an amazing start into your life and into every single day. And then number three, to be honest, I had to think a little bit, but then I kind of took the person, who was in the past. And if I'm in the morning, and if I'm there, and if I say, look, I've achieved this and that, really celebrate what you have achieved in life, and really look at what you have achieved in life. Makes you, makes you happy, makes you say, look, I'm ready to get up in the morning. I am all up and running. And then I always, I'd like to get up in the morning, and I do that breathing exercise, like a hard breathing exercise from Wim Hof.
I do the same.
You do the same, yeah.
I do.
And then I don't know if you've ever seen when he does that meditation. He always goes, I am the greatest. I am, I'm super. I've got a strong mind, and I just go full out. I go onto the balcony and I shout it out loud, and then it gives me a really good mood.
This is fantastic. You can see, for all of our listeners now, whether you're in Chicago or Italy or Scotland or wherever people are chiming in from, they're all over the place here. Hopefully you can see them on the screen as well. But you can see why I love this question, because literally the question of your three things could be an entire hour interviewing you just about this. And so I'm going to interview you about this. So this morning, what were you grateful for this morning?
Oh my goodness. This morning, actually, just that I have someone who comes to our house every morning. Wow. Who makes us breakfast.
No kidding.
Yes.
That's beautiful.
I am just so grateful for our housemate that she comes in. We can make our morning routine. The kids go all crazy outside, and we can just make our morning routines. And we have someone who comes over and who makes the breakfast. I was just so unbelievably grateful for that. But then, to be honest, what I was really grateful, it was during the day. And we're just building a new house right now, and then we have a few houses down that there's somebody else building a house, and you see those workers, on their knees. It's raining outside, it's cold, and I'm just grateful for the life I have, and that I have come across, the sales profession, so to speak, or network marketing, so to speak. And so I was really grateful for that.
So I went to my other screen here, and I'm scrolling back on previous shows, because you're the second person that talked about breakfast that I can recall. And you may know Patty Acosta down in South America.
Yes.
Just truly, from Newport Beach to having nothing to moving back to her home country and building just this iconic business. And she said that she just loves that gratitude time when she can eat breakfast with total gratitude for every bite, no distractions taking in the meal. I mean, it's easy for me to sit here and be on my phone and watching you on Instagram while I'm eating my breakfast or whatever, but that is really fantastic. So yeah, you're grateful for your breakfast, looking forward to something, which is really an interesting thing for number two, because vision is really always future focused. And I loved how you said that. I think a lot of our listeners did as well. And then it's celebrating what's good in the world is kind of the famous photographer from National Geographic, DeWitt Jones, talks about that entire philosophy of, as a National Geographic photographer, you literally get to open up the world every day and say, what do I want to take pictures of? What do I want to celebrate that's good in the world today? So thank you so very much for those three things. It's awesome. And I really like you're good where you are. I thought that was really compelling for all of our listeners today or 6 weeks, 6 months, 6 years from now that might listen to the podcast, you're good where you are is a great, great place to be.
Yeah, I think that's very important. Yeah.
Yeah. You are a super busy individual. I mean, you and I will text and we'll comment back and forth on Facebook. We'll talk every now and then, but you are really driven and focused. But let's go back 8 years ago when you came to my house. Your beautiful friend, Pam Vickers, sends you here. I think we went across the street to the country club, if I recall.
Yes, we did. Yeah, correct.
We sat down and were you already signed up in network marketing in the business at that time, or are you just starting?
Yes, we were signed up. Yes.
Just starting. You had a schedule that was different back then. You were in a lot of places, right?
Yes.
Golf tournaments. You were in the golf business, golf tournaments all over the globe, all kinds of things. And when you left here, I'm going to be honest, I don't know if I've told you this before. I wondered in my mind how someone could find the focus with the schedule that you had at that time. So walk us through your life then to how it's evolved in 8 years' time to becoming the greatest salesman in the world.
Well, I think to be honest, my career actually prepared me for that. To be one of the greatest salesmen. Yes, because as a golfer, obviously, as you know, Dan, what's important as a golfer? You need to focus on your own ball.
Exactly.
You need to focus on what you're doing. You cannot focus on, any players. What is he doing? Is he under par? Is he over par? What's the wind doing? What's the weather doing? What is, it's just all up to you. And as a golf professional, you learn, or I think in sports anyways, especially in golf, because it's so much dependent on you. There's nobody else who can swing that golf club for you. There's no teammate who can help you when you're on the golf course. And so it really prepares you for life amazingly, I think.
Yeah.
Because you learn so much. When I was I started playing golf when I was 10 years old, and I had a very, very amazing growing up, to be honest, because or childhood, I should say. Sorry, excuse my language. I haven't used English for a while, so it's a little bit rusty. So excuse
okay.
all of my English already. And well, anyways, my upbringing was amazing. My parents had money. They had it looked to be an amazing life from the outside. They did have a nice life, but they didn't have time freedom.
Yeah.
And so anyways, I had a lot, in my childhood, and it's always tough to find someone who usually has an easier upbringing, or like a wealthier upbringing, to have that focus, to have that drive, to have, that will to succeed. But golf brought that out in me. And my mom, she always said, when you're working hard, you can achieve anything you want in life.
Wow.
Which is not entirely true.
Yeah.
It is true, but it is not entirely true.
Right.
But golf brought that out in me. So I think it really prepared me very, very nicely for this career, because you just need once, and we always tell that to our team, once you find out that it's all on you, that there's nobody else to blame, no circumstances, no market, no, how old you are, how young you are, what's the mark, it just doesn't matter. Once you find that out, I think that really locks, or that opens up the door for your greatest salesman journey.
Man, that is really well said. Preparation is the mother of skill. I learned that, Wim Hof teaches you a lot when it comes to the breathing. Now, before we leave the Wim Hof topic, I do the breathing, but I'll be full disclosure here. The ice baths just don't mix with me. Are you doing the ice baths?
No, I don't know.
Of course, the ice baths take a whole nother mental approach to the well-being. Yeah. But Laird Hamilton really taught me about the preparation thing, the big wave surfer. And he said, I only get 10 or 12 great wave days a year. And so he does 90 minutes every morning of the Wim Hof breathing. Then he's lifting weights and training all day long. So he's training 6-8 hours a day. And he's preparing for those 10 to 12 days. Now bring us forward if you can, because your journey took you from America back to your home in Graz, Austria. You are opening up essentially a new market. You're creating new systems and pricing and packages and everything. Talk to us about how did you dig in on that journey?
Well, going back to golf, we knew that, and I think our amazing upline is on the call here, and we're so thankful for her to give us this opportunity. We can never be grateful enough. She gave us the opportunity to pursue a dream. We had a dream, and we always keep saying to our team, if you have a dream, the how will come. It is just all about the why. If the why is big enough, the how will show up. And I have those 3 words that I keep, that we have kept over those last 8 years, and that it's plan, do, review.
Wow.
Plan, do, review.
Love that.
And as a golfer, I mean, it's constantly, right? You go out on the golf course, you plan your round, you think, okay, well, I love that. I go out and I'm gonna play, I'm gonna shoot 65, and then you go out there and all of a sudden, here comes the wind, here comes your crappy golf swing, and you need to adjust, right? Yeah. And so it's plan, okay, then we do, and then we review. And then we say, well, I've hit a lot of balls today in the out of bounds on the left. I've hooked a lot of balls, and it's just a constant plan, do, review kind of approach. And we have really dug into that approach, into the plan, do, review. And that's because I said before, my mom always said, with hard work, you can achieve everything. But I think with hard and smart work, you can achieve everything. Yeah. That, I think, is the real truth behind it. Because if you just work hard, I have worked hard in golf for a long time, but I haven't achieved what I wanted to achieve because I didn't follow the plan, do, review part, which we have then implemented much more into our business. And so we came to Austria. The market was, not completely zero, but almost zero. And we just took the approach of getting better every day, getting better every week, getting better every month, and just go over that process, plan, do, and review.
Well, I love that. I think that's great wisdom for everybody. And I had that experience on Saturday, and mind you, there might only be a couple hundred people in the world, maybe more than that, maybe call it 1,000 people in the world that make a living hitting that white ball from tee to hole. It's a hard game. So me and my son-in-law go out last Saturday to one of the most prestigious clubs in the world. I mean, it is over the top, unbelievable. And I birdie the first hole and hit the best 5-iron I can on a par 3 on the next hole. Hit the third hole, fourth hole, fifth hole. And all of a sudden, we've got this group of 5 people that are right on top of us from the hole behind us. And all of a sudden, we start to speed up. And the par 5 in front of me, I hit it in the water. I'm speeding up. My next shot, I hook it left. And so you bring up a great point that my mentors used to teach me back in the day, and that is that all distractions are equal. And any one of those distractions, whether it's the wind or the lie or whatever it might be, they get you in a different place instead of focusing like you start your day off with the gratitude and the breathing and looking forward to. Really fantastic on the plan, do, review. I really love that. Let me just take a break here if I can for a minute, Thomas, on behalf of the Augmandino Company. We've got people joining us from all over the world. We love your comments. Thank you. I love the challenge from Sharon to challenge me to do an ice bath. Well,
Nice.
There are some challenges that I will warm up to as I get older. And it's great to have you no matter where you're at, all over the world. Your comments are just heartfelt here. I hope you're loving our guest on the Greatest Salesman podcast today. On behalf of the Augmandino Company, everybody knows that 2.5 billion people are now connected on Facebook and Instagram. And instead of trying to be an expert yourself, why not turn to the Augmandino Company, historically a great coaching company for 20 some odd years, and now having a white hat hacker, literally a professional, train you and coach you on how to make those things work better for you. If you're with us for the first time on the podcast, you can go to habitfinder.com/social VIP, and you're going to have one of the greatest, smartest, wisest people in the world help you navigate to build a bigger funnel. Get out of your pond and into the ocean of 2.5 billion people and learn how to affirm a relationship the way Augmandino teaches us to in The Greatest Salesman, in The Greatest Secret, in The Greatest Success, all those masterful books by the great Augmandino. So on behalf of the Augmandino Company, Thomas, that's my mid-show commercial, and I hope that everybody can benefit from it in some way, shape, or form. I saw somebody, if my producer can find it, somebody said earlier in the show they're going to go back and retake the Habit Finder. It's been a couple years, and they're going to challenge themselves to be better. And that's really what Augmandino coached us on, is a philosophy for living. And so I wonder if we can transition, Thomas, from the world of golf to being, like you said, golf, it's you. You're not looking at the other. You can't punch Tiger Woods. You can't, do a karate kick on Ernie Els or whoever, right? So it's all about you. So when did personal development and self-help, because I know you do a lot of it, when did that kind of come into your life, and what has struck you profoundly at the beginning of this journey?
I'm sorry, Dan. I have to go back to golf again.
I love it. I'm all into the golf. Let's do it. Bring it on.
I'm just totally sorry, my friend. It, basically it started at the age of 10, to be honest.
Okay.
When we started playing golf, it was, setting your goals. It was, okay, how do we get better? But I was never a great reader. My German was just awful in school. I think I did not read a book until I was probably about 30, I would say.
Interesting.
Maybe one book until I was 30, but that's it. I watched a lot of YouTube videos. I watched a lot of interviews. I watched a lot of, it was more, it was more like, the YouTube stuff was more like my self-development. I mean, I copied Tiger Woods.
I love it.
And that's another nugget, is modeling of excellence. Plain and simple. Just model excellence and you cannot go wrong. If you really, find something, if you tweak it a little bit so it works for yourself, the modeling of excellence is just, it's one of the concepts. And again, it doesn't matter whether you're in sales, whether you're in your relationship, whether with kids, whether, you're in golf, it just doesn't matter. If you model excellence, you just cannot go wrong. And I studied Tiger Woods I listened to every word he was saying. I listened to the, to the mental attitude he had, and he was always talking about that. I'm just focusing on myself. I'm just focusing on me. I went out. I do that. It was just so much, listening over YouTube these days. Since there are not that many mentors that do YouTube stuff. Like in golf, it was pretty easy to listen to interviews. It's a lot these days. I mean, really, I would say half an hour a day, maybe 45 minutes per day. But I started heavily when I was 30, reading books, and yeah.
It's interesting you bring that up because I've had 3 PGA Tour professionals at my house over the last 10 years that were at one time dead broke, didn't have any money to put together at all, that have all had top 10 finishes on the PGA Tour this year. And and one of them specifically asked me, I want to come over to your house and just talk to you. Here's a college graduate, played on the Walker Cup team, hadn't made the tour yet. And he says, so what do you think about? And I just said, well, what did Tiger Woods think about? He had that picture on the wall. He had all those majors. He had the vision and the picture. And so you've given us a lot to think about. And I wrote that down in my notes over here, modeling excellence. That's great wisdom for us, whether it's fitness, life, marriage, no matter what aspect of life you're trying to model.
Exactly.
That's just terrific wisdom.
I think I really think that it's really one of the secrets, because so many people listen to people that just have got no clue. They take advice, let's say on business, they take advice from other people who are still employed, and they want to give you tips on how to become a great salesman, and they're actually a baker, or they sell meat, or it's just crazy, and they give you tips, and most people listen to it. So I think it's unbelievable. If you model excellence, I think that's really one of the fast tracks.
I've got an 8-iron in my hand right here, just because you brought it up. I just said, you keep thinking golf, and we've got the great Bill Toth on the line here right now. Now, Bill and his wife, when they were on the show as the greatest salespeople in the world, they continued to give us animal references. Like, I'm sorry, Dan, I'm going to go back to animals again. Isn't it interesting how we all have a paradigm on where we grow up? I didn't read books either. I was scared to read books. I mean, I was lucky that this was easy to read. I mean, this could be read in 90 minutes for the slowest and worst of readers. And the only book I ever read, I don't know if you remember a tennis player, but the only book I read as a kid was the Yvonne Goolagong story. She was a young Wimbledon star from Australia, just this beautiful flow athlete that just had this most amazing, it was the only book I ever read. And it's really fascinating that you and I share that. But now I love reading. I'm up at 5 a.m. every morning listening and reading and trying to model excellence. And so in the vein, let's see if we can get you on to business here for a minute and get you off of golf. Okay?
Let's try.
You and I did a call, I want to say it was January. And we spent maybe an hour with a group of people talking about systems. And as you become the greatest salesperson in the world, as you become the leader of thousands of people, you're doing millions and millions of dollars in business. You have this extraordinary structure and process for your team. How do you go about systematizing life and business?
Good question. A very good question. That's I've never thought about that, to be honest.
Well, let me see if I can ask it a different way. When I brought that up on that call in January that we did, I believe your response was, correct me if I'm wrong, you focused on part of the system being core rank. You're focused on a recognition system and a way to celebrate, which is part of your 3 things. That's why I'm kind of going here, is how you celebrate other people. And so how do you work that into your daily method of operation, if you will, the celebration of the success of others?
Well, I think it's again, it's a human need. People want to feel that certain, in business, when you go out and you're employed, and you don't really get the recognition. You don't really get this feeling, okay, well, I am worth something.
Yeah.
And it's just not, I don't go about it in business. I just try to go about it in everyday life, because at the end of the day, it's just, when I look at the kids, when I look at, our workers who did our house phenomenally, when I look at, if I go shopping, and if I look at those people who work behind the counter, everybody needs that recognition, and everybody needs that gratitude that brings back their thoughts, and they go, well, yes, this is exactly what I just did. I am totally worth it. I'm just, yes, that's me. And
I love that.
so it's not something in obviously, I try, we try to do in our culture as well, but it's just an everyday thing that I try to weave into life, because, and it goes back to gratitude. Once you have that gratitude part, I think it just comes natural, because you are so thankful for those people on the call, and the teams, that we have, and the amazing people that we have in our team. We have the saying, and I don't know if you know the word Ubuntu.
Tell us.
You are because of me, and I am because of you.
How do you spell it?
That Ubuntu. It's Ubuntu, and it's an African. It's an African way of life. And basically, I've heard it from the Boston Celtics, the coach from the Boston Celtics, how he brought his team together. And it's exactly through this way of living. It's Ubuntu. I am because of you. You are because of me. And once you have that down, once you see that I could not build that house without all of those amazing workers that come there, whether it snowed, whether it was raining, they built the house for us. And it's the same with our team, or it's the same with you, our amazing upline here, or it's just unbelievable if you think about it, how we are all so connected and so tied in. And it really is a way of living. I am because of you, and you are because of me. So it just becomes a culture of Ubuntu.
Boy, that's beautiful. That's a beautiful, beautiful thing. Somebody's going to type that in the comments. We're going to put that up on the screen. Ubuntu, Ubuntu, Ubuntu.
Ubuntu, exactly.
Yeah. I am because of you, and you are because of me. And that's interesting, because what I've found, Thomas, in the 40 episodes that we've done, everybody resonates that gives thought to these three things. You can always feel the genuine authenticity. And I think our audience, and I think that all of us strive to have more gratitude. And this Ubuntu is really putting that together with your feelings there and what you're grateful for today, and how everybody has that remarkable, as Ed here from Chicago is putting on the screen, interdependence. That's kind of a Stephen Covey thing. You have independence, interdependence, etc. A beautiful, beautiful thought that you've really shared with everybody here today. And I think the other thing that I think is interesting that you bring out, when we think about the world's greatest salespeople, I often think of Joe Girard, who actually is the official Guinness Book of World Records greatest salesman in the world for selling cars. And I have a neighbor that's in the car business, and I just reminded him to reread that the other day. And he says, I need to read more. I need to reread that. I think you told me that before, he said. But Joe Girard would never have lunch with another salesman on the showroom floor because he could never sell a car to that guy. And so he was 100% focused on who he could service, not in any other way of keeping his time focused. There we go. Lucy, thank you so very much. I am because of you, and you are because of me. And I think what your point was there is really interesting because you're, let's say you're going to be out there in the world and you meet somebody and you give them a compliment and say, wow, you're very good. Maybe it's a waitress or a waiter at a table. You're very good at what you do. Have you ever thought about using those skills to further your career?
Mm.
I mean, that's going to go a lot farther than say, hey, can you get the water over here a little faster? Hey, could you get the food, the food's cold, send it back, yell at the, it's just a whole way of living that you're embodying. And I'm just honored that you made the time to come and share that today. I'm feeling like this is great stuff.
Well, I am because of you.
And that is really true. I shouldn't laugh like that because it's genuine, it's real.
It is, exactly. If you think about that, I mean, this Ubuntu is just so, I know why it's a way of living, because it really becomes a way of living. And it just, obviously we know gratitude, we know all that kind of stuff, and but we forget it so often. And once you have this crazy word to it, Ubuntu, it also, in our team, it becomes a real culture, and everybody's saying, when somebody's posting into the comments something, or somebody's sharing it, and they all go Ubuntu, or when somebody's not bringing a sandwich for the other person, then they go, well, that was an Ubuntu, man. So it's funny.
I love it. I love it so much. It is interesting, and you've given gratitude to your sponsor. You've given gratitude to me, and I don't remember all of the people between you and I, Scott Bennett, between Pam and me and you, and the thousands and thousands of people that you have as customers and team member. And there's Pam right there. So proud of you, Thomas, right there on the screen. We'll put that up there. And that's, of course, obviously, it's really so awesome, because when I think about people that perhaps in the world of direct selling have done very little to sponsor somebody that does a lot, it's still, I always maintain that I am, or to your quote here, I am because of you and you are because of me. No matter what I did, if I did the littlest thing to say, hey, here's this business for you, and you take it and make it a multi-million-dollar enterprise, that person is every bit as valuable in the chain.
Absolutely. And I mean, it goes beyond saying. It was actually Tim Vickers, and every time I write him, every 5-6 months I write him how grateful I am, because if Tim Vickers wouldn't, if I would have not met him, then we would not be here. So I am because of you.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Okay, so let's close with this idea of you're a motivated guy. You've got a highly aspirational team. You have done unbelievable things to be here today as the greatest salesman that I get to hand select every single week. And I want to see if you can't share, as somebody that has so much now, what keeps you going? Why are you not out on the golf course?
It's pretty simple. I'm chasing me in 10 years.
Oh, right back to the 3 things again.
Pretty simple.
Oh my gosh.
That's I can elaborate further on that, but that's pretty simple. I think it's a human need, and we know from Tony Robbins has got those 6 human needs. It's just a human need, and if you're not growing, you're just not fulfilling a human need, which makes you happy, and all of those 6 human needs make you happy. And if you're not growing, you're just not as happy a person as you can be. And obviously it's contribution. It's another human need that when you know you have achieved a lot financially and all those things, you just want to contribute because it is another human need. That's why I'm chasing me in 10 years.
Man, that's so good. You know, it's interesting because I just literally think that there's more 19-year-old kids like me that didn't do well in school. There's more people like you that didn't read a book. There's thousands and tens of thousands and millions of people that are waiting for this opportunity for the direct selling world to show up and show them that they can be them and be their best them 10 years from now. And what's interesting about your concept there is that tomorrow there's still 10 years. And next year there's still 10 years. And so it's like this is really good to piggyback on your comment there, your quote. Stephen Covey always felt that your greatest contribution should always be your next project. So it's like those 10 years just don't stop until you do, right? So
exactly.
Wow, that's great. Vanessa's on the screen saying, yes, please tell us more, but you gave us a great episode here. Let's see, Bill Toth's on the line. So how about if I close with a Bill Toth question?
Go ahead.
What would you like to be remembered as?
I would like to be remembered as a person who has helped 10,000 women and families into financial freedom.
How about that? Crystal clarity. That's beautiful. That's fantastic.
That's my mission. That's what I'm going for. And that's what I'm passionate about.
Yeah, me too. Love it. Love you, brother. Just thrilled that you'd make the time.
So much.
Thank you so very much. I want to thank all of our listeners today. I want to thank those that might be live with us on Facebook or YouTube. If you're going to catch a podcast later, please leave us a review, leave us a like, leave us a share, leave us a rating. And we just are thrilled. The Greatest Salesman in the World, episode number 40. He's Thomas Kogler from Graz, Austria. I'm Dan McCormick here in sunny Southern California. Everybody go out and make it the greatest day of your life. I'm Dan McCormick, and bye for now.